Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Talkin Schmoedown. I am Josh the Merc Raynor, and we're on episode number 54. This is a huge week, guys. 7 big matches. Man, it's crazy. Yeah, the beginning of the Ultimate Schmoedown Singles Tournament, and a big tag team doubleheader for the throwdown. Is man, I am so excited to get into this. That main event, whoo-wee. I'm talking probably best match of the year kind of contender. Yeah, we'll get into that. But before we get into all of the crazy matches, there's some other stuff that I'd like to touch on before we do that. First off, I would like to give my uh, condolences, best well wishes to Brian Ward. He is someone who does pretty much all the design work for the Schmoedown. The image cards and stuff like that. Like these types of things. Those are all done by Brian Ward. He's an amazing artist. He's amazing. He's an amazing guy. And his father recently passed away from COVID, and so my condolences go out to Brian Ward and his family and friends. Also, there was some toxic asshole apparently, some fan who decided that he was going to go after Sabrina Ramirez after her match. I didn't see the post, so I don't know exactly what was said, but from the sounds of it, he attacked her. Obviously her gameplay. He attacked her on a personal level. Apparently made comments about her looks and all this stuff, and I'm just like, this whole thing has to stop. This kind of an occurrence happens way too often in this community, and I know that I'm fucking sick of it. And when I heard about this, I was so enraged about it. And like I found out who the guy was, but I'm not saying his name here because I don't want him to have any sort of coverage of it. You know what I mean? I don't want him getting clicks for anything. Nothing. Nah, he's this fucking guy. He's a piece of shit, plain and simple. And anybody who attacks anyone, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, you don't deserve to be treated that way. And if you're somebody who's out there doing that, then fuck you. Simple as that. Fuck you. Sabrina's fantastic. Yeah, maybe she didn't have the greatest debut match. Shit happens. I've seen legends have shitty matches. It happens. But that doesn't give anybody the right to do that kind of shit. No, not at all. She's an amazing person, flat out. And if you're gonna sit there and try to attack her, fuck you. Nah. This whole community shunned this fucking guy, and I'm so proud of the rest of this community. I really am. And speaking of this community, I recently put out a pretty long tweet thread, kind of addressing essentially my feelings about my place in the community. Um, it's it's something I've had been thinking about for quite a while, and it's something I wanted to address here as well. Um, there have been plenty of times, and this has nothing to do with anybody in particular. It's just it probably has more to do with me, to be honest with you. But there have been lots of times where I haven't felt the most accepted in the community. Now, like I said, there's nobody really specific that this is aimed toward. It's just, I maybe I'm not the best at putting myself out there. It took a lot to start doing these live streams, to be totally honest with you. And after my father passed away in February, I kind of fell off, of the grid. When it comes to this stuff, I stopped doing Talkin Schmoedown for several months. I just couldn't bring myself to keep going. I didn't even know if I would come back. That was, and there were certain people, and I mentioned a lot of them in the tweet thread. There were a lot of people that kind of reached out and kind of showed me that there are people that care. There's lots of times where I feel invisible in this community, but again, that's just something that I have to deal with on my own terms. I'm trying to put something out that people like. I really am. And I know that my voice isn't for everyone. I get that. But, I hope that there are people out there that enjoy what I do here. I don't get a whole lot of feedback, but that's okay. I know there's at least a few people that watch the show regularly, and I'm very, very thankful for that. But yeah, it's something that it was kind of brewing around for a while, and I felt the need to get out and just kind of get it out of me. And so that's where that was. And that's kind of where my mindset was during all of that. So, and again, thank you to all of the people who have reached out to me in the past, especially after my father died. Kevin Smith was a big one. Paul Preston, I mentioned both of them. And there's my whole crew here at Merc Movie Blog has been just a huge thing for me, because I don't have, where I live, I just don't have a lot of people that I could, especially, I don't have any friends, like in-person friends that are into the Schmoedown at all. I just don't. It is, it's just kind of the way it is, unfortunately. But I have found a lot of good people here, and I hope that continues. So something that I was something else that I posted recently that I was working on. I had been working on this, not necessarily this specific image, but something that I had been tinkering around in my brain for a while that I wanted to do. And I'm no Brian Ward, I'll tell you that. My skills on Photoshop are limited, but I took the Jay White Switchblade logo. He's a wrestler, and turned it into the Rachel Silvestrini logo. I love it. Let me know what you guys think. I thought it was real fun to do. It took me a while to figure out how to do this hair, but I figured it out finally. And so, hey, here it is, the Switchblade, Rachel Silvestrini. I don't know why. It was just, I saw the logo, and I was like, I really want to do that. I really want to turn it into a Rachel Silvestrini thing. And I was like, I'm not going to give up on it. I'll figure out a way to do it. And I did it. So, yeah. And then the last thing, I finally got myself a Schmoedown shirt. It's not this here. I just ordered it, I think yesterday. But I got the this new Korruption shirt from Attack Peter. It is fantastic. I love this design. It looks super, super cool. I couldn't pass it up. It looks great, and I am excited to get it. Be honest though, part of me wishes that it was available in black, like the t-shirt was available in black, but that's okay. It is what it is when it comes to that. All right, so now that we got that stuff all wrapped up, we're gonna get into the matches. And like I said, we've got a lot of them. So first off, we are going to I'm gonna talk about the last play-in match. Now, this match didn't happen until Wednesday. And that's because they needed to wait until the Dan Murrell, Ethan Irwin match to know who was going to be in it. So then after that, they filmed it on Monday, and then it took Nerd Chronic a couple of days. He cranked this one out pretty quick. He had to edit this thing. He had a couple of days to do it. Normally they got longer. He's got a longer time frame to get this stuff done, but he cranked this one out, and they had it out by Wednesday. So that is Spicy Sabrina Ramirez versus Vinnie, the Ice Pick Mancuso, Finstock Exchange versus the Dungeon in this final play-in match. Here we go. Vinnie, I gotta say, I thought he was an interesting guy. I know, we've seen him before. He's one half of the Butcher Boys with Owen Mugen. I think the last time we saw them was back in March when they lost against the Pride. So it was interesting to see. He's got an interesting character. Kaiser couldn't be there, so Adam Witt put on a bandana and some shades and called himself Adam Kaiser. He was the cousin of John Kaiser from Syracuse, which I loved that. mainly because I live a half an hour from Syracuse, because so like Paul Preston, I honestly, I'm not sure where Adam Witt is from. Paul Preston went to the same college as I did in Fredonia, SUNY Fredonia. And I know Kaiser is from Rochester. And so, like, I'm from that area. I'm from Western New York originally. So I'm from Fredonia, Dunkirk area. And then, so, which is like 2 hours away from Rochester. And where I am right now, I'm closer to Syracuse. And that's about an hour and 10 minutes from Rochester. So I'm right. I've lived in this kind of area my whole life. So anytime they bring up stuff like that, it just tickles me. I love it. I love it so much. And I gotta say, the whole Adam Witt Kaiser bit was great. I loved it. He's so funny. He's a great comedian. And every time that they've done stuff, whether it be on their own or when they're as the movie guys, fantastic stuff. And this one is no different. So this first round of this match was rough for Sabrina. Real bad. Like, I like her. She's cool. But like I said before, even the legends have terrible games. And unfortunately for Sabrina, her terrible game came as her debut. So, you get out there your first time out and it just doesn't look good. I know that she's an intelligent woman. And I have no doubt that she can succeed in this league. But, maybe it just got to her being her debut. I don't know, but yeah, not great. 3 points is all she got. Vinnie got 7. So it was 7-3 at the end of round 1 in favor of Vinnie. So, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, I feel like she could come back from that. It just is what it is at this stage. Just got to kind of brush off this match and move forward, So we get into round 2. Vinnie defers and Sabrina spins John Carpenter. And not feeling that, respins and lands on Judd Apatow. They seem pretty confident in this. Finstock it seems like that they knew that this was one that they were looking for. And she did decent. Wasn't a terrible round. She got 5 out of 8 points. Did have to go to multiple choice a couple of times, and unfortunately did miss one, and Vinnie got a steal off of it. Luckily, it was just the 1 point, but being down so much already, that hurts. That hurts a lot. When you're already down, it essentially, I think they were tied at this point, and he still had a whole round to go. So, yeah, it's not great. So Vinnie spins Hitchcock and then respins and lands on a new category, at least one that I haven't seen before that I can remember. And it was YA, young adult novel adaptations. So it's a very specific kind of category. It's not just young adult movies. It's young adult novel adaptations. So, young adult movies that originated from a book. That's very specific stuff. I mean, we're looking at things like Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner, probably Twilight, that kind of stuff, I'm sure there's plenty of others out there that I have no idea. He does about the same here as Sabrina. Gets 5 out of 8 points, though he had to go to multiple choice 3 times and he didn't miss any. So because of that steal that he got, he's actually up by another point here coming out of round 2. That gap just gets pushed farther apart, and it's 13-8 here at the end of round 2. Not looking good. But then we get into round 3. Sabrina nails both her 2 and her 3-point questions, tying it up and preventing the TKO. So that right there, to me, first off, getting 5 points in round 2, it's not great, but it's also not terrible. You see it a lot. I mean, heck, even Vinnie got that. But you do see that, more often than you'd think. And then, hitting your 2 and 3, that's great. And so it forces Vinnie to have to, answer a question, like I said, preventing that TKO. He gets his 2, and it forces it back over to Sabrina for the 5. Unfortunately, she got a fairly tough one here and was not able to pull it out. And so Vinnie wins this play-in match 15-13. And he will go on to face, I believe, Ethan Irwin. Let me just double check here. I got the bracket. Yes, so Vinnie will now go on to face Ethan Irwin in the round 1 of the tournament. This got 2 points for the dungeon. Points that the dungeon desperately needed. They've been falling behind quite a bit. So this is something that they desperately needed. All right. So now starts round 1 of the Ultimate Schmoedown Singles Tournament. That's right. All the play-in matches are done. And now we're going to get into it. First up for that is the delinquent Lon nickname for Sabina Graves. I don't know why. I have no idea. And I'll be honest, I don't remember if they said one in the match. So if you guys know, if you guys are aware of whether or not Sabina has a nickname, hop down onto Twitter, or you can, hop into the comments here on this video, or you can leave a message on anchor.fm/movieblog Merc. You can leave a voice message there, but I'm always on Twitter, so you can definitely leave me a message on Twitter at movieblog Merc. You can even use the hashtag Talkin Schmoedown and let me know what is her nickname if she has one. But I just thought it was weird because all of these other graphics, they have their nickname. It showed like we see right here, the delinquent Lon Harris, but there's nothing there for Sabina. So I have no idea. But again, if you know, let me know. All right. So we're gonna get into round 1 here. I don't want to spend too much time dawdling in these since we have 7 matches to cover. It's a lot of time, a lot of stuff going on here. All right, so we're in round 1. Sabina, man, this chick is funny. She pulls out both Geppetto and Jane Fonda for question when she has questions that she doesn't know the answer to. Man, I just it made me smile so much. It was so funny. It brought some nice levity to what was going on here. It's perfect. I loved it so much. And I also gotta say, I kind of love that Sabina's whiteboard was on a stick. So she was just like, floop. It's like when you're at like an auction, you got the little paddles, and they're like, okay, we got $50 here, $50 here, $60 over there, $70 over there. It was like one of those. It was really funny. I don't know. I don't know why that kind of like, I was like, I love that. And I had to write it down. I don't know why it kind of stuck out to me so much, but it did. And I really enjoyed it. So she did okay here. And Lon, he did well, like he normally does, like it is expected. 7-5 in favor of Lon coming out of round 1. So we get into round 2. Lon defers. Afterwards, Winston and Lon do this bit with Winston telling him no shots, don't no taking shots during this, and he said that he'll buy Lon a handle of liquor of his choice if he wins this match. Now, I saw on the Movie Trivia Facebook page someone talking about how they didn't like this because it was enabling an alcoholic, storyline wise, of course, but nonetheless, they felt that it was a little offensive. I guess I don't completely understand, but and there was a lot of people who clapped back at them against this take, and I gotta say, I don't buy it. Like, I mean, I understand that maybe it did offend them. Maybe they were taken aback by this because he is the delinquent. You know what I mean? So like but here's the thing. There have been plenty. You look at the Wildberries, man. They literally played games drunk. And it's like, I don't know if this person had problems with those too, but if he's going to have problems with this storyline, it's not even actually something happening, then I would hope that he had a problem with that too. Just keeping things the same. I didn't have a problem. I thought it was funny, personally. I don't know. If you guys had issues with it, let me know. I didn't see it personally. I didn't see why it was something to kind of throw a fuss about. But I don't know. So Sabrina spins Eddie Murphy and respins to directors. I've seen Eddie Murphy pop up a few times and people, spin away from it. I'm not 100% sure why. I don't know if this is just if he's one of those actors that a lot of people just don't seem to pay enough attention to. I don't know, because there are lots of other actors and actresses that people love landing on, you know. So I found it strange that I have seen Eddie Murphy spun away from kind of often. So like I said, she lands on directors, and that's what she goes with. And man, not a good round. She gets 1 point. 1 point. It's hard to watch. Went to multiple choice 3 times, and gave away 4 points in steals. I don't. It was bad. It was real bad. I can't sugarcoat that, man. It was bad. But I noticed something during this. I should have clipped out the video for this one. I didn't think to do it, and I really should, because I clipped out a video for something later on, and I should have clipped out the video for this. But for her second question, Christian reads it incorrectly. Okay. He says 2012 instead of 2002. Now, I don't know if she would have gotten it knowing that the movie came out in 2002 and not in 2012. But she wound up going multiple choice and knew the answer once she heard it. That flub, I mean, granted, I don't think this would have affected the match at all, but it's player stats, you know what I mean? And this could have cost her a point. We won't know because he said it incorrectly. Now, on the screen, it was written correctly. Whether it wasn't written correctly in the document and then it was fixed when they put it on the screen, I don't know. I'm not there. I don't get to see that stuff. I do not know. I have no idea. I'm just going by what I saw. He said 2012. Screen said 2002. I looked up the movie. It was 2002. So that's where that stands. So I'm curious if she would have known it if he had said 2002. Because, I mean, if you're like, okay, it's 2012, you're thinking in 2012's movies. And a movie from a decade prior to that ain't going to pop into your head. It's just not. So, I don't know. Let me know. Did you guys catch it? Let me know what you thought about it. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to get into a big thing about rules consistency because I've done that lots of times. Heck, you can go and listen to Jay Wade, the host of SEN Afterlive, right here on Merc with a Movie Blog. He clipped out a pretty big rant about it from his latest episode. Put it on the SEN Afterlive YouTube channel, going off about rules consistency and stuff like that. It's good. It's a good listen, man. He gets super passionate. Like, he loves this game. He loves it. But he's also a huge sports fan. And so he understands the need for consistent rules. So I suggest checking that out. So Lon spins action adventure and respins to 90s. And he does superbly here. He essentially picked up the other 7 points that Sabina was unable to get here. Like I said, 7 out of 8 points. Didn't miss a question. Only had to go to multiple choice 1 time. And right there, that's the match. 18-16. Lon KOs Sabina Graves, gaining 3 points for swag. Man, that was intense. I feel bad for Sabina. Like, that was a rough match. She did okay in that first round, but that was that second round that just destroyed her. And being up against someone like Lon, 7 points both rounds, plus that 4 points in steals. It's during the post where Sam, he's like, yeah, I might need a job now. Hey, Winston, is that pool boy position still open? So Sam is now Winston's pool boy. It's pretty funny. I loved it. They're both hilarious dudes. I can't I can't get enough of them. I love them. All right. So this next one I was really looking forward to, and that is Paul the Powder Keg Preston versus Eric Z-Man Zipper. We got the Den going head to head against the Dungeon here. Dungeon having another match in this week. I gotta say, I love Paul Preston, man. He's fantastic, and I was really rooting for him. Man, this just did not go his way. So before the actual match started, we got Brad Gilmore in here replacing Christian Harloff at the table. It was kind of weird. I was like, huh. But I gotta say, he did a great job, and his voice was very good when it came to doing the whole Schmoedown announcement part, where it's like, let's get ready to Schmoedown. Great job, Brad. I really loved it. So we get into round one, and right away, Zipper and Kaiser issue a challenge on that first question because Paul was writing, was technically still writing technically after the time ran out. We've seen this. So many people do this. I don't think I've ever seen someone challenge it like this, though. It may have happened, but I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of it. If you guys can remember, hop down to Twitter and do that. So we get into this, and I just this whole challenge was I don't know. I was very torn about it. I was very torn about it. It was a good challenge. I gotta say, I thought it was a very good challenge, but because of my feeling for Paul Preston, it was just, man, I was torn about it. So yeah, I understand where they were coming from, but I had a hard time accepting it because of all of that. And this again comes back to all the rules consistency stuff. You know, when someone like Mark Ellis decides he's just gonna let it go, he's just like, it's fine. He was writing after the timer. It's fine, but it's not fine, and he shouldn't be doing it. You know, he should not be doing that, but he did. And Paul, you could tell he was bitter about it. So, unfortunately, I feel like it threw him off throughout the rest of the game. I really do. So round one ended 7-6 in favor of Eric Zipper, and we get into round number two. Eric defers, and Paul spins Festival Darlings. Some bad memories for this for him. It was kind of funny. They had some back and forth between him and Kate. And then he respins and lands on comic book movies. Not a strength for Paul here. He cuts it close on a repeat in round one. He's obviously rattled, gets 4 out of 8 points here, multiple choice 3 times, and gave up a 1-point steal. Definitely a rough round for Paul. Then Zipper spins Nicole Kidman and respins and lands on 2010s. He gets 6 out of 8 points here. Pretty good stuff, I gotta say. He did pretty well. Solid round. Had to go to multiple choice twice, but didn't miss anything. So ends round 2, 14-10. Zipper up 4 points going into the final round. So we get into round 3. Zipper tells Kaiser that he has bad luck picking numbers. So he has Kaiser pick the numbers for him, which I thought was an interesting strategy. However, he didn't need them as Paul hits his 2 and misses his 3 and 5, resulting in a TKO win for Eric Zipper, 14-12, giving 3 points to the Dungeon, pushing them up farther in the rankings. Paul then makes an offhanded comment that he might retire, and I really hope he doesn't. I love Paul Preston. I hope that it was just him saying something, but I guess we'll have to see. And are he and Tom not going into the team's tourney? I don't know. I hope so, but I guess we will have to wait and see. Yes, we will. All right. So right at this second, I'm gonna have to step away for a minute, and I will be right back. And I'm back, everybody. Sorry, my daughter came out of her bedroom, and so I had to go and take care of her. So thank you for sticking with me here while I had to do that. So we are going to now get into the next match. All right. And that one is Jader the Hurricane Paramo versus Jim the Whiskey Man Vejvoda. All right. So I'll say this. When it came to Jim, he was one of those people who I've talked about before who doesn't understand the game very well and has cost him matches. It seems that he's gotten better at it throughout this match. There's another person who I'll say the same thing about later on who did the same. And it also seems like he's gotten better on the mic. So bravo to Jim. I got to say, it seems like he's taking it a bit more seriously, and I like that. All right. So we get into round number one. Solid performance from both these guys. Nothing really controversial here. 7-7 at the end of it. It's a nice round. Like I said, nothing crazy happened. They're just answering questions. They each missed one. That's all there is, folks. So we get into round two. Jader deferred, and Jim spins and lands on opponent's choice, and they give him Meg Ryan movies. I wasn't sure if this was a good choice or not, but it seemed to work out. He played it real safe here. Went to multiple choice every question. He got all the questions, so he got 4 out of 8 points. But he played it real safe because he was like, I know what it is, but I want to be sure. And it's like in a situation like this, you need to take that chance once in a while. You know, there was a couple of times where I think he probably he knew the answer, like he said, and if he had just taken that chance, he would have gotten a couple extra points there. might have swung the game a little differently. You know what I mean? So then Jader spins Eddie Murphy. We see it again right here, Eddie Murphy, and he spins away. He lands on spinner's choice. I mean, I guess that's a good choice, good decision here to spin away. But again, apparently Eddie Murphy, nobody wants it. It's like how Tarantino used to be. Everybody used to just completely spin away from Tarantino. It's like, why are you spinning away from Tarantino? Like almost nobody's landed on it. So it should be pretty easy stuff, pretty surface level stuff if you know Tarantino. I feel like the same would be for Eddie Murphy. So he, like I said, lands on spinner's choice, and he takes Pixar movies. And then so he not great here. This was, I don't know if it was just tough questions for him, what it was. I know that he didn't take his time with that last question, and I'm pretty sure he would have gotten it, because if he had taken his time, because right after he said the wrong answer, he knew the right answer, and he rushed into it. 4 out of 8 points. He did give up a 1-point steal to Jim Vejvoda here. And coming out of round 2, Jim's in the lead, 12-11. You know, so Jader is trailing here going into round 3. And then Jader's up first, and he misses his 2-point question. It's like, oh man, he was already down, and then he missed his 2. That's not good. But you know, he nails his 3, takes the lead here. And then Jim did the same thing. He missed his 2, but hit his 3, retaking the lead. So it all comes down to the 5s. You know, Jader takes his time, uses all of his repeats, and pulls out that 5-pointer. Hits it. And then at the end, he says, like in the post, he says he knew it, but he wanted to really make sure he knew it. You know, he wanted to take his time and make sure that he had the correct answer. And so I'm glad he did, because it got him there. And then it comes down to Jim. Jim Vejvoda has to answer his 5-point in order to win this match. And unfortunately, he's not able to pull it out. Jader comes from behind and wins the match 19-15, giving 2 points to the Burning Droogs. 2 points that desperately needed by the Droogs, I gotta say. And Jim played really well here. You know, other than playing it a little too safe, you know, he used repeats when he needed to use repeats. He wasn't, you know, trying to answer after the buzzer or anything like that. Like it seemed like he really understood the rules here, and that was super nice to see. I hope that he gets better at it, and that we get to see him do more stuff in the future. I really do. All right, so now we are on to the final tournament match for this past week, and that is Brendan the Kid Meyer versus the elusive Alonzo Dorade. We got the quirky Mercs versus the Burning Droogs. The Droogs with another player here. And right here, Alonzo Dorade. This is the other player that I was talking about. You know, he's the kind of player who is extremely knowledgeable about movies. However, his gameplay, not great. You know, he didn't, you know, there were so many times where it's like, doesn't seem to get the game. And it's like, it was him and Matt Atchity, who were, you know, teammates. And Matt did so much. I'm not even gonna get into all that stuff where he essentially gave up a win. I don't know if Alonzo was okay with that, but he let it happen. You know, I feel like he should have talked him down from it, but because you got to play the game. The game is the game, and you're here to win. I mean, it's not necessarily, and it wound up being like not even like it wasn't even accurate. You know, the challenge, whatever. Yeah, but I digress. You know, that's a whole nother thing. So Brendan the Kid Meyer versus the elusive Alonzo Dorade. Christian starts off hosting this one alone. Mark eventually does pop in before the match actually starts, which I thought was kind of interesting. You know, we had one match where Christian wasn't even there, and then we had this one where he was by himself for a little bit there. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then Coy, I got to talk about Coy here. He is such a great manager in terms of how he works with his players. So good. Fantastic. I love Coy. I got to say, if I had to pick a team to be on, he'd be one of my top 3 just because of him as a manager. I'd probably, honestly, my top, I'll be totally honest, would probably be Korruption. Just because of the management style of Shannon Barney and the overall camaraderie between the members of that faction. I think that's where I would wind up going. But the Den or the FinSec Exchange would be options too. Like, I really do think those would probably be my tops right there. Granted, I'll probably never play. I'm not even anywhere near. I don't even play in the fan leagues because I think I would get trounced and stuff like that. But I would try it. I'd give it a go. Sure, why not? Probably look like a fool, but I'll give it a go. So we get into round 1, and we come to an issue for me with question number 4. I have a problem with Alonzo's answer for question number 4. He says Fast 7 when talking about the 7th film in the Fast and Furious franchise. The question, I think, was name a sequel that James Wan directed, I believe, is what the question was. And that was one of them. However, the movie is not titled Fast 7. There's Fast 5. But this movie has technically 2 titles. It's Furious 7, or it's also titled on screen as Fast and Furious 7. So if he had said Furious 7 or Fast and Furious 7, I would have no problem. But Fast 7 is not the title of this movie. And you can't just be like, oh yeah, we know what he's talking about. That comes right back to the whole fucking rules consistency bullshit. And I feel like I talk about it and I go on about it every week now because something happens every fucking week now to where it makes me say, what are you fucking doing? The rules should be the fucking rules, and they're not being followed. So I digress. I do believe that it should have been counted as a wrong answer, and they shouldn't have. I mean, if fucking Fast 7 counts, then Sid Pollock should have fucking counted. At least Roca said Sidney Pollock, and he was the first one to fucking answer and wrote down Sid Pollock. If Fast 7 fucking counts, and so should that. It's such bullshit. They need to get it under control. And I'm not trying to bag on Christian or Mark. I love the fucking Schmoedown. It's one of the things I love the most. And to see it treated like, doesn't fucking matter. Whatever. It's just a fucking game. It prevents it from being a serious sport. It really does. Now think about, you get people coming in, okay? You get hardcore sports fans, you get fans who aren't accustomed to the Schmoedown, who have no idea who Christian and Mark are, who have no idea who most of these people are. They're there. Maybe you get some people during the Kevin Smith Chris Jericho match. You got wrestling fans who are there for Jericho, but they're checking this movie trivia thing out because he's on it. Or you get fans of Kevin Smith who they love Kevin Smith. They love movies. So like, oh yeah, this sounds really cool. So let's check it out. But they have no idea who the fuck Mark and Christian are. They have no idea who the Schmoes are or what the Schmoedown is. And they come in here and they see stuff like this and they're like, yo, what the fuck is that? Why are they just letting random shit go? You know what I mean? They're not going to have that. Oh, it's okay. They've been running this for so long. We'll give them a break. No, they're not. They're not going to cut you a break. And these are the people that you need to be getting. You need to be building your brand, not just staying stagnant with the community that you have. You want to bring in more fans and more fans. It's the only way you're going to build. Only way. And consistent rules is a big fucking part of that. And it needs to happen. End of story. It needs to happen. All right, so we got a great round from both Brendan and Alonzo. Brendan got a perfect round with the bonus. Alonzo only missed one question. So, 9-7, even though he should have missed 2, but whatever. 9-7 in favor of Brendan. We get into round 2, and Brendan defers. Alonzo spins movie release dates and respins to 80s movies. Gets 7 out of 8 here. Only goes multiple choice once, but answers everything. Great second round by Alonzo. 7 in the first round, 7 in the second round, showing that he's got the knowledge. You know what I mean? And he's learning the game. I wish he would have learned the rule of that game, unless he really thought it was called Fast 7 instead of Furious 7. I guess I get the mistake, but it's still a wrong answer, nonetheless. I got to stop going back to that. So Brendan then spins Audrey Hepburn, and after some real good conferring with Coy, he decides to stay with it, and winds up getting 5 out of 8 points total here. Rough second half to that round. Now, in that third question, which he winds up missing, which he winds up getting. He gets the third question. It's the last question that he misses. Brendan answers the question. He gives the answer. They're in a romantic relationship. But then Mark asks for specificity. Now, obviously, Mark learned from that 1960s question with Ethan and Roca that you don't just assume, because he could have easily just been like, I assume you meant lesbians, so then you get the points. That would have been the exact same thing that he would have done before. And just because you assume something doesn't mean, you know what I mean? So he asks for specificity, and Brendan's like kind of confused about it, and he's like, well, can I go to multiple choice then? And they let him go to multiple choice, which is fine. I didn't have an issue with that. And he got it, because the answer was lesbians. But then he challenged it because he thought his original answer should have counted. And it's the decision that has me a little bit torn here. I'm going to play a clip of it right now.
And we are back after much deliberation. Mark, go ahead and read the announcement.
So after a conference with the judges, the decision that we have rendered is as follows. When I did ask Brendan the 2-point question, he answered with what we deemed to be part of a correct answer. I did ask him to elaborate, and it was not satisfactory to award him the 2 points. However, we do think that Brendan knew the answer. He proved as much during the multiple choice round, so we will award Brendan 1 point for getting the multiple choice. He gets 1 point, not 2, and we will now move on to Brendan's last question in the world of Audrey Hepburn.
Can I ask one thing? Do I keep my challenge then, or do I lose it?
I would say your challenge was not overruled, and it was not upheld, so you retain the challenge.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to know. Cool.
All right.
Well, I got 1 point for that.
So
that's perfect.
All right. So as you saw there, they came back, and it's such a weird decision, because like it wasn't overturned, it wasn't upheld. Like, so what the fuck was it then? You say, okay, he obviously knew it, which, I mean, you've given plenty of people leeway on stuff like that when it's not like, I feel like saying they're in a romantic relationship, knowing that it's 2 women. Like, I don't know. I'm really torn about it, and let me know what you guys think, because I don't know what to think about it. I'm really torn again. Like I said, I can't. I don't know. Luckily, it didn't cost him the match, so we'll say that. So we come out of round 2. It's 15-14. Alonzo is taking the lead. We get into round 3. Brendan hits all 3 of his answers, putting all the pressure on Alonso to do the same. He is able to get his 2 and 3, and then it comes down to that big 5-point question, and Alonso unable to secure the win here. And Brendan takes it home 24-20, giving the quirky Mercs 2 more points in the faction standings. Alonso seems to be like I said, he seems to be understanding the game a lot more. I like seeing these super knowledgeable players stepping up, really trying to understand how the game is played, like him and Vejvoda. We'll see how Atchity does. I think Whitney Seibold is in the tournament. So because he's another one who I feel like sometimes doesn't quite get the gameplay as well. So I'm hoping that everybody is stepping up and learning the actual game. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. All right. Next up is the Schmoedown Throwdown. That's right. I am so excited. This tag team doubleheader starting off with, that's right, we're seeing Brendan Meyer yet again as Shazam takes on Who's the Boss? Yeah, that's right. We got the Quirky Mercs versus the Finstock Exchange here. Shazam has not had much luck against Who's the Boss in the past. Really not a lot of luck. Before everything starts, Lon pops in. He's all cleaned up. He's got a nice dress shirt on, and he's ready for his match, which he does not have because they were knocked out. Final Exam was knocked out last week of the this like mini tournament, as they call it. And because of this, he's so discouraged from trying that he leaves and he goes right back to being the delinquent. And I gotta say, it was a phenomenal little promo bit. It was great. I loved it. I'm glad that they're able to occasionally do stuff like this still. I really enjoy it. So Bibiani had his camera upside down, and it obviously bothered Christian, which was, to me, kind of funny. He did fix it before the match started, but the whole time, because Christian's like, you gotta turn your camera on, and Bibbs is just kind of like, nah, it's okay. He's like, no, you really gotta. It's like, yeah. Like you could tell it was really getting to Christian. It was kind of funny how Bibbs was just poking the bear, you know what I mean? All right, so we get into round number 1. Ben in his giant fucking whiteboard. It's really hard to see. Like, I don't know if it's his lighting, or if it's his marker, if it's a combination of the two, but it was really difficult to see what he was writing on that board. Maybe if you had something smaller, you could get it closer to the camera in an easier fashion, or, maybe had a thicker, darker marker. I don't know. You know you're going to be in matches like this. Make sure you got a good supply of dry erase markers, man. I'm just saying. I feel like that's key. Anyways, Bibiani. Okay. Ben was being kind of heel Ben here throughout this match. Tries to pretend that ever since he joined the Horsemen, he turned face, but he's always been a heel, and he's just been suppressing that, and it came out big time here. Big time. You could see it. And Bibiani wasn't having any of it. He snapped back, called him a jerk, called him a bully, and then eventually Brendan zinged him after Ben missed a question. So, man, there was a lot of heat going on here, and I was worried that it was going to get into Bibiani's head, because that's something that Ben is great at, getting into people's head, and I was real worried about that. But Shazam winds up keeping the lead here after round 1, 13-10. Not a great showing from Who's the Boss in that first round. I mean, really, 10 points? That's not great, guys. It's not out of a possible 16, 18 if you get perfect rounds. That's not great. Not great at all. So we get in round 2. Shazam defers, and Who's the Boss spins and lands on opponent's choice. And they are given classics. This was a great use of the opponent's choice. It's probably one of the best uses of opponent's choice that I've seen in a while, because they give them classics, and man, it is definitely not a strength for who's the boss. They wind up with 5 out of 12 points. Whew, man, they go to multiple choice 3 times, wind up 4 points in steals that Shazam picks up, because classics are a thing that they're good at, especially Brendan. Then during the steal portion, where Shazam comes in and answers those missed questions, Ben and Gucci come in and challenge that Bibbs only says Elvis final answer instead of saying Elvis Presley, and that it should not count. Now, if it had been just a straight up 2-point steal, I could see this flying. You could argue this, but it was multiple choice, and only one person on that list was named Elvis. It's not like it said Elvis Presley, Elvis Costello, and then a couple other people, and then he said Elvis final answer. That wouldn't count. It just wouldn't, because there would have been 2 Elvises as options. Because you can say A or B final answer. You don't even have to say the answer in a multiple choice. But to me, challenging that, saying Elvis when Elvis, like if he'd said Presley, like what difference would it have made when it's multiple choice? I get when it's just a flat out answer and there's no multiple choice. I get that. But I get trying to make an argument for that. But that's not the case here. And I think I don't even think that they cared about the point there all that much. I think they were really trying to get in Bibbs' head. I really do. I really think that they were just trying to rattle him. No, getting the points taken away, from Shazam, that's a bonus for them. But I think it was more about him trying to get in Bibbs' head. I really do. The challenge was overturned, so thankfully, because I would have not agreed with that if that was the case. But I thought it was ridiculous, and like I said, I feel like Ben just did it to get at them. So it was ridiculous, and I don't like it when they do challenges like that. Like come on, man. That come on, it's multiple choice and you're going to pull that kind of shit. You know what you're doing. So then Shazam, it's finally their turn, and they spin comedies and they stay with it. And they do pretty good here. 9 out of 12 points. No misses. They do damn good here. They go to multiple choice 3 times, but like I said, they didn't miss anything. 9 points. And right here was the fucking blowout of the week. Shazam knocked out Who's the Boss 26-15. Oh my god. I was like freaking out when this happened. Because I was keeping track of the score and stuff, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, if they get these last 2 questions at 2 points apiece, they're gonna fucking knock Who's the Boss out. And I don't think they mentioned it at that point. I don't think they mentioned it until the last question. And I'm just like, they could knock out Who's the Boss. This is fucking crazy. It's fucking Who's the Boss. 2 former champions, man. And sure as shit, they did it. I was fucking floored here, man. This was just, I don't know if you call it the biggest upset or not, because I personally was rooting for Shazam, but holy shit, it was. I didn't expect it. I thought it was going to go down to the 5-pointer in round 3. I really did. Maybe even a sudden death, but I was not expecting that. All right, and so that ends that match, and we have 1 match left, and that is the main event of the Schmoedown Throwdown, the Tag Team Championship match, the Founding Fathers versus Korruption. You got Dan Merle, you got John Roca for the Finstock Exchange, and you've got Chance Ellison, you got Mike Kalinowski for Korruption. Yeah, man, this match was something special. Hoo-wee. Anyways, so at the beginning of this, Christian says no looking off camera, and that you have to look into the camera, you know, because they don't want you doing this because you could be looking at another screen or a person or whatever. They want you looking in the camera. And it made me question, why did Chance get to keep his sunglasses on then? You could have your sunglasses on and be looking all over the place, but you're not going to see anything. It's like John Cena. You can't see me. You just wouldn't see anything. And so what's to stop anybody who wears sunglasses in this league, and there are plenty of them, what's to stop any of them from doing that exact thing? And for him to make this announcement at the beginning that no looking off camera, and I'm sorry, but what are you like? I'm sitting there like, oh, what is it? Am I getting points deducted because I'm trying to think? You know what I mean? Like that's BS. What if I have to be locked in? Like, I gotta fiddle around and grab my water, and I can't break eye contact because I gotta be looking at the camera at all times. It's like, come on, man. Like, I get that there are some questions about cheating. I've seen on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook page, some people are like, yeah, they didn't name any names, but they're like, I think there's a couple of people who have definitely used their phone for answers. I mean, if it's true, that's pretty shitty of them. And you would think that they would have enough respect for this game to not do that. I don't know. But anyways, so we get into round number 1. Mike having a rough first round here. Chance gets a perfect round, however, and gets the bonus, which ties everything up. So thanks to Chance, you know, they don't fall behind here, even though Mike had a little bit of a rough round. Unfortunately, that happens. I mean, if you look at it, 13-13 is the score here. Chance got a perfect round plus the bonus. That's 9 points. That means Mike only got 4 points in round 1. That's rough. You know, it's not great. And he knew it. You know what I mean? He knew that he didn't have a great first round, and that Chance is the one that got him where they needed to be. So we get into round number 2. Founding Fathers defer, and Korruption spins Angela Bassett, and then respins and lands on 80s movies. We will see Angela Bassett come up again. And so they do great here. 10 out of 12 points. They answer all their questions, go to multiple choice twice. Killer round here. They work really well together. They really do. And then Founding Fathers spin video game movies, which I was like, oh, cool. You know, we don't get to see that often. And they didn't want it, which, I mean, I get it. You know, they're like, you know, there's too many, you know, movies. There's too many like Resident Evil movies and stuff like that. I'm like, oh man, I would have loved to have heard that because we don't get it often. But they respin, they land. I get, like I said, it was going to come back up. Angela Bassett movies, and they kill it, man. Damn, a great round from both teams. They get 11 out of 12 here. Go to multiple choice one time, but they answer everything. They both sweep their boards here. And Founding Fathers take the lead 24-23 going into the betting round. Betting round comes up. Now, this betting round was kind of... There was some stuff here. It seemed messy. It seemed unorganized. Now, it's their first time doing a teams betting round. Okay, this is the first teams title match that's been done digitally. Christian should not have had John putting his wager in until Korruption had chosen what they were gonna do. You know, so what they should have then done is once Korruption had picked their amount, then they should have brought them in, or at least brought John in, and then like they do in all the other matches that they've done this for, they have them enter it into the chat, at the private chat, at the same time. He says 3, 2, 1, and you hit enter. Because they go in and he's like, okay, do not look at the private chat. Do not look at the private chat. Do not look at the private chat as each person came in. And like Mike was, he's like, what the, he got confused. I think he almost went to it. And they like, the whole point is so that the opponents don't know what you wagered. And I think it was just, like I said, it was just messy. I don't think they did enough practice for this, talking it through, actually figuring out the logistics of this part of it. Like I said, it was real messy. Yeah. And all the downtime, there's so much downtime because of it. All this stuff, in and out. And this is the kind of stuff that would normally just be edited out in a non-live match. Because it's live, we have to sit there and see all of it. And I'm sure, because this match will be up, I believe, on Friday on YouTube, I'm sure all that dead air and stuff will be edited out. I'm sure of it. It'll be smooth. It'll probably look smoother on the YouTube one. But Founding Fathers wind up wagering 3 points, while Korruption wagers 2, and they both get correct answers, pushing the Founding Fathers ahead by another point, 27-25, going into the speed round. Now, with this speed round, it's a little different than what we've seen previously. Previously, it was you get one player, 10 questions. It's the same concept, but because there's 2 players, they split it in half. Each player gets 5 questions. So there are 2 sets of questions, an A set and a B set. The first player to answer gets the A set. Second player gets the B set, and then the same on the other team. So Mike went first on Korruption, and Dan went first on the Founding Fathers. So they got the same questions, and then Chance and John got the same questions. Mike answered all 5 and got them all correct. Chance answered 4 of the 5 after passing twice, and he got all 4 of those that he answered correct. So Korruption winds up with 9 out of 10 points. Solid right there. Founding Fathers, on the other hand, Dan answered 4 after passing twice and missed 1 of them. And John did the same thing. He answered 4, passing twice, and missed 1. Now, what that means is, so they answered 4 questions. They missed 1. So they got 3 questions correct. The missed one is a negative point. So it takes away 1 of those correct points. So each Dan and John each got 2 points for their rounds. So a total of 4 out of 10 points for the Founding Fathers. And that lead, that little lead that they have, right down the drain, as Korruption takes a 3-point lead, 34-31 here. And oh man, this was something. So we get into round 5, final round. Founding Fathers down by 3 points. Roca and Dan, they both hit the 2 and 3 respectively. Swings it over to Korruption. Mike and Chance pull out their 2 and 3 as well, and it all comes down to the 5s. Founding Fathers, they hit their 5 in a nail biter, man. It comes right down to the wire. And right here, if KO hits their 5, they win and they become the champions. It's something that they've been hoping for. And I mean, they've had the championships before, but they really wanted to take this one home, and they hit it, man. Thanks to Chance, who had a perfect game. That's right. He passed on 1 question in the speed round, but he did not miss that question. So it doesn't count. They even talk about that. So he hits a perfect game here. And Mike only missed 1 question. That's it. 1 question the whole time. Or wait, no, he missed. No, never mind. I said he missed 1, but no, he missed some others at the beginning, I believe. Yeah, sorry. That got a little fishy there. I don't know why I wrote down he only missed 1. I don't know, but I think he missed 4. I think I said in that first round. Yeah, because they had to have been 4. But still, he did really well. So they win the match 44-41. I don't know if that's some sort of record but I'm sure somebody out there knows. 3 points to Korruption because it was a title match. And I got to say, this might just be best match of the year. I really do. It was great, man. This was such a good fucking match. And I will be rewatching this probably because, damn, I'll be showing this to people. If somebody asks, like, what is this Schmoedown thing that you like? I'm like, yo, check out this fucking match, man. It was good shit. Man, yeah. Finstock Exchange suffered 2 big losses here, with both Who's the Boss and Founding Fathers losing their matches. That's big. These would have threw them right back up in the first place. And unfortunately for them, that's not the case here. So, people, kept saying how it was unfair that, he got to keep all 4 of those players right off the bat. But, just because he got to keep them doesn't mean that they're going to get you all the points that you want. Because look what happened here. It's not a guarantee. Not a guarantee. This has lit a massive fire under John and Dan. Like, they're ready. And they even said, this is not done. They're coming for those titles. They're coming for Korruption. This feud is not over. And I hope that they do wind up in the singles or in the teams tournament. I really do. From what I understand, Who's the Boss is not in the tournament. So I'm really hoping that Founding Fathers are in the tournament. I really do. All right. So that's all the matches. Seven big matches. I think we made pretty good time talking about all those crazy matches. And so now I'm going to look at the singles bracket here. That's right. We've got Lon Harris and Brendan Meyer on the left side moving on to round 2. Eric Zipper and Jader Paramo moving on to round number 2. We got some good matches coming up. I'm pretty excited to see what happens here. I love that they're doing this giant bracket. It's fantastic, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So our faction standings are as such. At the bottom, we got the usual suspects in 9th place with 9 points. The Rock Stars in 8th place with 12 points. The Burning Droogs in 7th, also with 12 points, but they do have one more win over the Rock Stars. That's why they're above them. Then we got the Dungeon, the Quirky Mercs, and the Den, 6, 5, and 4, all with 17 points. However, if you look at the wins, the Dungeon has 5, Quirky Mercs have 6, the Den has 7, and that is why they are placed where they are placed. So then coming in at number 3 is the Finstock Exchange. A big gap between 3 and 4. 15 big points between 3rd place and 4th place. So I have a hard time believing that anybody other than those top 3 teams are going to wind up winning this entire thing. We'll see as the tournaments go on, but that's a big gap. Then we've got in number 2, we've got Swag. We have both Swag and Korruption with 35 points. However, Korruption has one more win than Swag. They've got 12, where Swag has 11. So that is why Korruption stands tall yet again as number 1 in the faction standings. Congratulations to Mike and Chance and Shannon and the entire Korruption crew over there. Baller. And there's a reason why I bought this shirt. Korruption crew, baby. Korruption crew. All right. So let's take a look at next week's schedule. Well, it's technically this week's schedule that we are in currently. All right. So yesterday we had Mark Andreyko versus Matt Atchity. I'm excited to watch that one just to see how Atchity did. Then earlier today we had Tim Franco versus Tom. Tomorrow, we will get Mike Kalinowski versus Perry Nemiroff. Then on Thursday, it'll be Chance Ellison versus David Del Rio. And then on Friday, we've got the big Schmoedown Throwdown undercard of Guy versus Bateman Part 2. And then the main event of Chris Jericho versus Kevin Smith. I am so pumped for this, man, right here. Chris Jericho versus Kevin Smith. Now, that Guy Bateman match is actually a number 1 contenders match. The winner will go on to face Dan Murrell for the title. But this Chris Jericho Kevin Smith match, man, I'm excited. And I think I'm going to announce this here. I have decided that I am going to do my very first watch along reaction to this event. I won't be able to do it live because I'm not able to actually watch them live most of the time because my kid is still awake usually, and I can't really do recording and stuff during that time. But I will be doing a reaction video to this event. I am pumped, and especially because it is a YouTube one. It's not Patreon exclusive. So I'm not a big fan of people who do react to the Patreon exclusive ones and then post them like right away, because then you're essentially taking money away from the Schmoedown, because people don't have to pay to see it. Like, they can just watch your thing, and it just doesn't seem fair, right? I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, so I would never do that. I would consider doing a reaction, but then I would wait until the following Friday when it drops, or maybe that Saturday, so that there's that 24 hours. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty excited for it. 6 matches this week, not as big as this past week, but six matches. We got 4 for the tournament. Like they kept saying, they're going to do 4 a week. But then we also got the big throwdown. So yeah, let me know which matches you guys are excited for, other than the big throwdown. Which of the tournament matches are you guys most excited for? Because I'm sure a lot of you will be like, oh, Chris Jericho, Kevin Smith, or even maybe Guy and Bateman. But outside of those, what are you most excited for? You can hop on right there on Twitter and tell me. So that wraps everything up for me here on episode number 54 of Talkin Schmoedown. Thank you so much for joining me today. You can hop onto Twitter right down there at MovieBlogMerc. Give me a follow there. Also, I do have an Instagram. I don't do a lot on it, but if you are interested, you can follow me there. Also at MovieBlogMerc. And then Facebook and YouTube at Merc with a Movie Blog. Yeah, just if you want to reach out, I'm here. Always willing to chat with people about whatever. So yeah, as I say every single episode, we have been talking Schmoedown. Catch you next time.